This One's Wife. Meghan, only if she pays. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. You, as dedicated viewers of my work, understand that the mid-range type A narcissist that is this one's wife subconsciously pursues the prime aims, namely control, fuel, character traits, and residual benefits. She doesn't realise that she seeks those things out, but when it comes to her interactions with other people, that is what drives her behaviour. The relentless pursuit of these items is often occasioned by her utilisation of PR puff pieces, whereby she pays or releases press information to a stable of supine publications. Over the years, you've come to know who they are. For instance, it's the likes of Hello, Town and Country, People being a big favourite of hers, Marie Claire, Cosmopolitan, and Harper's Bazaar. Well, last night, Harper's Bazaar hosted the annual Women of the Year Awards, which took place at Claridge's. And a friend of mine was in attendance, and as I'm explaining to you the nature of this video, you'll see some of the snaps from the evening coming across your screen taken at the event. Now, this, of course, is the type of event that this one's wife would love to be at, because as described by the editor-in-chief of Harper's Bazaar, it's an occasion that honours the most influential and inspiring individuals who have helped to shape the cultural narrative over the past year. That's exactly the type of thing that this one's wife laps up. She wants to be at such an event because it's glamorous and she gets seen. It's to do with Women of the Year awards. We all know she loves a good award because that enables her to then triangulate people with that award for the pursuit of the prime aims. She believes, by virtue of her deluded mind, that this is the type of environment amongst which she belongs, that she should only really be associated with successful people from stage and screen and sport and literature and music and fashion. There were 12 winners. Let's quickly go through who they were to further understand how this one's wife would have loved to have been amongst these winners by virtue of being photographed so she can assert control and draw fuel by way of being seen at the event, and character trait acquisition. It included Jodie Turner-Smith, an actress who was described as a powerful force for change in Hollywood. Isn't that the kind of description that this one's wife would love? A powerful voice for change in Hollywood. The designer, Chimina Kamali. She had a critically acclaimed debut at Chloe last year. She's continued to champion the power of femininity in all its forms as one of the few female creative directors in the industry. Doesn't this one's wife want to champion the power of femininity in all its forms? You bet she does. The actress Rosamund Pike. She traded the silver screen for the opportunity to tread the boards at the National Theatre, giving a career-defining performance in Susie Miller's Inter Alia. Well, this one's wife has returned to acting, as we know, so she would want the opportunity to cosy up to Rosamund Pike and talk about acting. There's the director, Nia Da Costa. She's made a name for herself as the youngest filmmaker and first black woman to direct a Marvel film. Some racial aspect for this one's wife to acquire by way of character trait acquisition. Erin Doherty, who burst onto the scene with her formidable portrayal of Princess Anne in The Crown, and pulled no punches with her portrayal of a child psychologist in Adolescence. She confirmed her status as a rare and versatile talent, which of course this one's wife considers herself as a rare and versatile talent. So there'll be an opportunity for her to want to character trait acquire there. There's the writer, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She's a novelist and feminist icon. Well, isn't this one's wife a novelist and, in her mind, a feminist icon? And apparently, Chimamanda has written about the interlinking lives of 4 African women. Well, this one's wife is 43% Nigerian. What a great opportunity for her to plug into Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie to acquire some more character traits. There's Amy Lou Wood. She has given performances in The White Lotus, and she's making a name for herself as a writer with her new television series Film Club, capturing hearts. Isn't this one's wife here to capture hearts? Cultural icon, a titan of acting, the Oscar-winning Reese Witherspoon. And she has a media empire. Well, doesn't that make her a female founder? I believe that it does. Accordingly, this one's wife would love to sidle up to Reese, although, as we know, Reese isn't particularly keen on this one's wife. Chloe Kelly, the sportswoman, she scored the winning goal at the Women's Euros in 2022. I'm sure all of a sudden that this one's wife, as she's developed a sudden interest in baseball, will suddenly be interested in football, or soccer, as she would call it. There's the musician, Jade. She has carved out her own path away from one of the most successful girl bands in recent history. She's walking her own path. Well, isn't the case that this one's wife has walked her own path, carving a route away from the royal family? So much to share. Entrepreneur, Gillian Anderson. She may be best known as an actress, but her recent venture into business with the functional drinks brand G-Spot shows her enterprising spirit extends beyond her choice of roles. So she's there as an entrepreneur. Well, this one's wife is an entrepreneur. Brilliant opportunity for her to speak. And then Mia Threppleton, who already has an impressive portfolio of performances, including Apple TV's The Buccaneers and The Phoenician Scheme, and it made her unimpeachably deserving of this year's Breakthrough Award, sponsored by the Platinum Card by American Express, another actress, and therefore so much in common with this one's wife. That's the dozen winners. It's a veritable lineup that this one's wife would love to have been involved with. Now, she wasn't there. She, of course, can't attend every awards ceremony, but it is, as I mentioned, the type of event that she would have loved to have been at for the reasons that I have just explained. And many of the names I've mentioned there, some of them will be very familiar to you, others perhaps less so, but you could understand the case for their attendance at the Women of the Year Awards. They merit it. But we know that with this one's wife, she doesn't merit any award. And I queried of my friend about the fact that, is this not something that this one's wife would have been involved with? After all, Harper's Bazaar regularly pushes out PR puff pieces on her behalf. And it was explained to me by my friend quite simply, what, Meghan? No, she only gets involved if she pays. There you have it. This one's wife isn't recognised for any talent because she has none. This one's wife is not recognised for being an unimpeachable breakthrough individual, for she is not. She's not recognised as an inspiring individual from stage and screen, from literature or music or business, because she quite simply isn't one. And therefore, these publications, and it won't just be Harper's Bazaar, it'll be the whole stable of them, they only really tolerate this one's wife as a consequence of the fact that she's pay to play. Now, I know many of you have come round to that way of thinking and understand that's how she gets things. She pays for awards. But it is interesting to hear from somebody involved with the organisation that that's clearly the case, that this one's wife isn't even considered for the possibility of receiving a Women of the Year awards, because they only tolerate her as a consequence of the money that is paid. Not only does that tell you what you've long suspected or perhaps might even know, but it's demonstrative of the fact that it demonstrates once again that so many outlets recognise there's nothing interesting about her other than laughing at her behaviour. She has no talent, she has no charisma, she's not genuine with regard to the things that she attempts to do, and there are far more deserving individuals that are involved who don't pay to play because they actually have ability, they actually have talent, but not this one's wife. She isn't even considered. The only way that she gets through the door is if she pays. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.